Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and greeting to everyone. To the Honorable Mr. Ahmad Agustiawan, STMSC PhD, our course lecture, Mr. Sukron and Mr. Pri, who accompanying today's presentation, and to my all dear friends, I'm Bagaswari Dewangga, and it is an honor for me to be the moderator for today's presentation. Our presenter today Our first presenter today has developed an innovative approach using research that into a critical area power generation in South Sumatra. Before we dive into the presentation, let's quickly go over our few rules to ensure everything runs smoothly. First, please silence the electronic devices and no talking without permission. Please pay attention to the presenter, and last, hold the question until the end of the presentation. Without further ado, let's welcome Mbak Amalina, Mas Farhan, and Mas Radityo to guide us through the finding and innovation from this important energy topic in South Sumatra. The floor is yours.
Oke, thank you, Mas Bayu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. The Honorable Mr. Ahmad Agus Setiawan, ST MSc PhD, Mr. Shukron and Mr. Pri, and respected fellow partners. All praise to Allah, the Lord of all worlds. Peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and to his family and his sahabat. On this occasion, we, the group consisting of Mbak Sabrina and Mas Radit, we will present our project that title Strategy towards the prosperity of the people of South Sumatra through the optimization of green energy resource potential. Okay, in these valuable moments, there are 3 points that we will be presenting today. The first one is South Sumatra energy policy. In this session, we will discuss the current energy policies in place within South Sumatra, where we will look into local government strategies, regulatory and frameworks, and how this policy are geared toward promoting the use of renewable energy in the region South Sumatra. And the second outline is energy mix scenario, that we will delve into potential energy mix scenario, such as solar, geothermal, and biomass can be integrated in South Sumatra overall energy plan along with the conventional energy sources. And we will also discuss how this balanced mix can meet the region energy demands while supporting sustainability. And then the last outline is conclusion. We will conclude by summarize the important points discussed throughout the presentation. We will highlight how optimizing green energy resource can contributing to enhancing the welfare of South Sumatra, aligning with the policies and future energy needed. With that overview in mind, let's begin by looking the first section, South Sumatra energy policy, that will be presenting by Mbak Sabrina and Mas Radit.
South Sumatra energy policy, based on the electricity transmission network map, we can infer several potential for South Sumatra as an investment destination in the energy sector, especially electricity energy. Extensive transmission network. As seen on the map, the electricity transmission network in South Sumatra has been connected to various region, both industrial center and residential areas. The existing infrastructure facilitates the distribution of electricity generated from existing power plants. The existing infrastructure facilities the distribution of electricity generated from existing power plants. Second, potential for renewable energy in additional to coal. South Sumatra also has significant potential for renewable energy source such as hydroelectricity, geothermal energy, and solar energy. These present opportunities for the development of clean and sustainable power plants. Three, government support. Both central and local government provide significant support for the development of the energy sector in South Sumatra. This is reflected in various policy supporting investment in the energy sectors, as well as the construction of supporting infrastructure. For abundant coal reserve, South Sumatra is rich in high-quality coal reserve. These natural resources are the basic for the construction of steam power plant or PLTU, pembangkit listrik tenaga uap, which is dominant electricity production in the region. So, to support net zero emission, we are trying to reduce the use of fossil fuels.
Okay, next, I will continue. This is the existing power plant and energy demand forecasting. I will explain about the current state of our power plants and the projected energy demand for the future based on the data we have collected. Part one is for current capacity of power plants. As we can see from the pie chart, coal-fired power plants currently dominate with 77.3% share of the total installed capacity. This indicates that we are still heavily reliant on fossil fuel to meet our electricity needs. Other type of power plants such as PLTG, PLTGU, and PLTA also have significant contribution, but they are still far below PLTU. Meanwhile, power plant based on renewable energy source such as PLTS, PLTBG, and PLTBM still have a very small share. Next, energy demand projection. Looking at energy demand projection graph, it is clear that the demand for electricity continues to increase year by year. This is in line with economic growth and the increasing use of electricity in various sectors. So based on the data we have, we can conclude that Indonesia is still heavily dependent on fossil fuel, especially coal, to meet its electricity needs, and the demand for electricity continues to increase along with economic growth and improving living standards. Although still small, the potential for developing renewable energy in Indonesia is enormous. Next. So next is South Sumatra energy policy. I will presenting about the National Electricity Supply Plan or RUPTL, which is our roadmap for power plants development in Indonesia. For the existing power plants in the table A, as you can see in the section that coal-fired power plant currently dominate the installed capacity, especially in the Sumatra system. This indicates that we are still heavily reliant on fossil fuels to meet our electricity needs. As you can see in the table, PLTU in Sumatra, we have total unit from PLN is 4, which the capacity is 260, and from IPP, there are 10 units, with the total capacity is 1,007 megawatt. So next is recapitulation of power plant development. In that table, we can see the projection of power plant development until 2030. It is evident that the government plans to continue increasing the capacity of PLTU, especially supercritical PLTU, which are more efficient. In addition, there are also plans to develop natural gas power plant like PLTG, combined cycle power plant (PLTGU), and hydropower power plants. Next is in the section C, in the potential in Indonesia, provide an overview of the potential for power plant development in various regions of Indonesia. There is great potential for developing solar power plants, wind power plants, and geothermal power plants. So next is alternate energy potential. There is some energy sources in Sumatra that can be a potential capacity. The first one is solar. It has 17,230 the capacity megawatt, and for bioenergy there is 2,061.4, and hydro 1,224, and for geothermal is 964, and for the nuclear is 2,000 megawatt. This nuclear based on the potential for the construction of nuclear power plant in the Bangka Island and the interconnection of the Sumatra electricity network transmission. And then approximately only 0.67% alternate energy has been used for electricity generation. Hence, we would like to develop and create some scenario to utilize unused potential alternate energy. Okay, next.
Okay, thank you, Mas Radit, Mbak Sabrina, for the elaboration. The next session I will take over about next energy mix scenario. Okay, in this scenario, I would like to present model forecasting supply and demand electricity in South Sumatra with LEAP application, of course. This model is crucial for understanding how energy needed will evolve in region and identifying the best approach to meet those needs sustainability as mentioned by Mas Radit and Mbak Sabrina. To achieve this, we have deployed 4 scenarios as shown in the slide, which will help us to analyze different pathway for electricity generation and their environmental effect. Okay, the first scenario is based on existing RUPTL Kementerian ESDM in Indonesia or Electricity Supply Business Plan Development for period 2021 to 2030. This scenario represent the continuation of the current strategy without significant changes. It will help us to assess how current policies will affect electricity capacity and environmental impact over the next decade. And then the second scenario, we consider a shift from fossil energy will be gradually replaced by non-COD or non-commercial operation debt renewable energy plants. To end, the aim in this scenario is to explore how substituting fossil fuel with renewable energy could reduce environmental impacts while maintaining the energy supply. And then the third scenario, the goal is to achieve net zero emission. We maintain the current RUPTL development plan until 2030. However, starting in 2030 and next over years, we plan to phase out fossil fuels completely by the end of the simulation period, where the gap left by removing fossil fuel will be filled by tapping into renewable energy potential in South Sumatra, especially focusing on energy sources like solar, geothermal, and hydropower. And then the last scenario is non-net zero emission with nuclear energy introduction. In this scenario, we aim for the net zero emission, but the addition of nuclear power is a key energy source to replace base load from fossil fuel energy. After 2030, we phase out fossil fuels just like the third scenario. By modeling this fourth scenario, I think we can simulate different pathways of South Sumatra energy future and examine the implication for electricity generation and environmental sustainability that we can choose the best scenario to develop in the next year. In this slide is a key assumption and model implementation where this is the foundation of our simulation. Starting with the power plant configuration and the table, we have categorized the power plants by the type of the outline, by the type of fuel and the outline respective capacities, operating lifetime, fuel types, where this include PLTU coal power plant. Kemudian the next is natural gas power plant, renewable resource power plant like solar, biogas, nuclear, and etc. In this table, the capacity credit is used to estimate the availability capacity in the system of the network in South Sumatra. And then there are merit order, shows the dispatching order of power plant based on cost efficiency. And then we also list the best year electricity production, where our best year is 2023, showing how long these plants will be operation and their maximum availability over the years. And the important notes about this foundation is about distribution losses, where we assume that 2023 the losses will be 9%, and 2030 7%, and 2050 5%. This is showing that the improvement in system efficiency is crucial to meeting future energy demand and more sustain in the future. Okay. Moving on the next slide, still about the key assumption and model implementation, where this is our power plant capacity modeling. From the first scenario that we have been developed, this scenario and expression to simulate energy supply dynamics across different plant types and timelines, of course. Here we define the case scenario for example, is coal-fired plants, natural gas, and renewable resource, where the coal-fired plant is gradually going down because to approach the net zero emission in the 2060. For any type of power plant, such as geothermal, hydro, mini hydro, solar, and biogas, we define capacity lifetime using the step and interpolate function to simulate changes over time. On this power capacity modeling, this is about a data-driven approach that provides flexibility for comparing different scenarios and help us to evaluate how different energy sources will evolve in the long term. Okay, next. After we talk about key assumption and model implementation, this is our first output in this first scenario, that is electricity output. In the first scenario, which is based on RUPTL plan for South Sumatra, we are projecting future energy output by the fuel type up to 2060. As you can see on the chart on the left, fossil fuel, particularly coal, remain the dominant source of energy throughout the forecast period. The share fossil fuel in this energy mix remains relatively high, with some minor shift in the renewable energy contribution. By the end of year 2030, as we can see in this table, the fossil share for 2030 is 84.9% of the total energy output. This then there is a slight reduction and continues toward the 2060, where fossil fuels still make up to 83.5% of the energy mix. Despite this energy mix, we can see that there is a small but noticeable growth in renewable energy, such as geothermal and hydro power plant. However, these sources do not significantly reduce the overall dominance of fossil fuel. The scenario reflects a conservative energy transition driven primarily by the existing policies and investment in fossil fuel. Okay, moving to the next slide. The second scenario output, the fossil fuel substitution. In the second scenario, we explore the transition fossil fuel towards renewable energy sources. This substitution scenario project is a notable shift in the energy mix, with fossil fuel use declining significantly in 2060. In 2030, as you can see in this box, fossil fuel share remainly high. That is 84.9%, similar to first scenario. However, by 2045, the share drops to 79.7%, and by 2060, the fossil share is 67.5% of total energy output, of course. This reduction is largely due to increased investment in solar, hydro, geothermal, and biomass energy. In this scenario that we are running on LEAP, highlight the proactive in energy policy, where renewable energy play a much larger role in meeting the energy demand over time. The decline fossil fuel is primarily driven by government regulation and market trend for clean energy, pushing toward a more sustainable and diversified energy future. Okay, next, the third output of our scenario about net zero emission by maximizing renewable energy potential in South Sumatra. By 2060, the fossil fuel have entirely passed out, or 0%. And that replaced by renewable energy that fully dominate energy mix in over the next year, aligning with the net zero emission scenario goals. Specifically in fossil fuel, share reduced from 84.4 to 0 in the end of the simulation. In this scenario, we encounter some challenges. That is energy deficit, as you can see in the left graph, because the demand for energy in our scenario forecasting in 2060 up to 35,000 gigawatt hours, but the energy that produced in this scenario only 25,000 gigawatt hours. This deficit occurs because the projected energy demand coming the years higher than the supply provided by the power plant capacity that we model for the next year. This deficit comes because the large portion of the fossil-based power plants, such as coal and natural gases, that used to base loader in the electricity network, meaning they operate continuously to meet the base load or the essential level of electricity demand in South Sumatra. By removing this fossil fuel, it make a energy deficit in South Sumatra. I think from the third scenario in here, need a strategic action such as integrating advanced storage technology or maybe improving grid infrastructure and energy import. That will essential to ensure that the transition renewable energy does not result in significant energy shortage. Okay, moving to the next slide. Where this is our last scenario that we add some extra move in here by introducing a nuclear power plant. In this case, we observe similar trend as the third scenario with a gradual shift from the fossil fuel dominance from the early years to the next year is replaced by the new and renewable energy. However, in this scenario, nuclear energy begins a crucial role in 2040 to 2060. While the fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, and etc. still dominant in the early years, that is 2060, the share is 84.4%. 2045 is down to 31.4%, and by the 2060 is to 0%. Notably, by the end of simulation 2060, we see that the energy output is predominantly supplied by the nuclear energy, that is 64.4%, and then followed by hydropower, solar, and geothermal, that is indicating the diverse and sustainable energy mix that align with the goals of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and achieving energy security. So, from the first scenario that has been developed, we look into the environmental effect over the years. In this slide, we're analyzing the environmental impact from the first scenario in terms of CO2 equivalent in that generated in energy production by various of power plant. The graph shows that projection CO2 from the 2000 and 2060. So what can we get from this graphic? The first point is the RUPTL scenario, the yellow line, and the net zero emissions substitution fossil fuel scenario continues to contribute remaining emissions, while the substitution scenario shows some reduction, but emissions still high, around 11 to 12 million metric tons CO2 equivalent. But in net zero emission scenario, either it's a third scenario or fourth scenario, by introducing the nuclear, present the most significant reduction CO2 emission, with the nuclear scenario reaching the net zero emission the fastest. From this graph, we conclude that the net zero emission can reduce the environmental effect, but aligning with the energy output from the before scenario, the third scenario, I think the net zero emission by introducing nuclear power plant is more suitable to implement in South Sumatra. Next conclusion will be presented by Mbak Sabrina.
Thank you, Mas Farhan. Okay, the conclusion is number one, South Sumatra presents significant investment potential in the energy sector due to its expensive transmission network, abundant renewable energy source, and government support. Also, effort are being made to reduce reliance on coal to support net zero emission. Two, Indonesia remains heavily dependent of coal for electricity, but increased demand and significant potential for renewable energy highlight opportunities for a more sustainable energy future. Three, Indonesia remains heavily reliant on coal for electricity, while the government focus on improving power plant efficiency and exploring the potential for renewable energy development. Four, only 0.67% of Indonesia alternate energy potential is used. Highly the need to tap into the first unused renewable source. And the last, the scenario demonstrate significant discipline in the reals on fossil fuel for electricity output. However, the model indicate that coal-fired power plant will still maintain a high net capacity factor until at least 2050. Highlight the continued improvement of coal in energy production under this assumption. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the elaboration, Mbak Sabrina. Okay, I think that's it from our presentation. Next, we deliver this session to Mr. Bayu as the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Malina, Mas Farhan, and Mas Raditya for the very informative presentation about potential energy in South Sumatra. And I believe the material you have shared has provided us to new insight. Now, I will like to open the floor for any question or feedback related to the topic that was just presented. Feel free for everyone to raise your hand if you have any question or comment.
And Mas Farhan, Mas Adit, and Mbak Sabrina. Okay, as the transition to cleaner energy source, the shift away from coal presents significant challenge that must be addressed to ensure a sustainable and equitable energy future. What are the biggest challenges in reducing dependence on coal in the energy mix for the future? Thank you.
Whether the question should be saved or answered immediately?
I think it's better to answer immediately. Okay, thank you, Mas Bernardus Ferry. So the question is about the biggest challenge by removing dependence on removing the coal in our energy generation. I think the biggest challenge in reducing dependence on coal fuel is in the term of economics, technology, and policy. One of the most significant challenges is high economy costs associated with the transition of renewable energy. Coal-fired power plant, for example, have long been backbone of the energy system in Indonesia, not only in South Sumatra, where PLTU or coal-fired power plant is the best loader. And to change this coal-fired power plant, need some investment toward renewable energy request a massive massive influx of capital, not just for construction constructing new facilities, but also phasing out existing power plant gradually. And then the technological challenge in removing coal power plant is another major barrier. While technologies such as solar, wind, and geothermal, and etc., is increasingly advanced, they still face a limitation regarding intermittency or irregularly in energy supply. There isn't always sufficient sunlight in wind, in solar, or minimum airflow for the wind energy, which more reliable and efficient energy storage system like batteries. Currently, global energy storage capacity is still insufficient to replace the coal fuel. And then the third barriers, I think, is energy policy. Many countries have a policy that still rely on the coal for reasons of economic and political sustainability or stability. In coal-rich country like in Indonesia, there is a pressure to maintain the coal use because many jobs and government's revenue depend on this industry in coal-fired power plant or coal mining. Changing energy policy to focus more renewable energy requires a shift in perspective and strong political support, along with adequate incentive for investment in clean technologies. Given these challenges, reducing dependence on coal requires a holistic approach that includes investment in renewable energy, the development and the research and development of energy storage technology, and reform in policy that support sustainability transition without compromising national energy security. I think that is my answer, Mas Ferry.
Thank you, Mas Farhan, for the answer and Mas Ferry for the question. Maybe there are any question or comment from the audience? Okay, Mbak Rosa, please.
Why does coal maintain a high net capacity factor until 2050 despite the massive transition to renewable energy?
Okay, thank you for the question, Mbak Margareta. We will answer immediately by Mbak Sabrina will answer your questions.
Okay, I will answer this question. Okay. Coal maintain a high net capacity factor until 2050 for several key reasons relate to efficiency, availability, and existing infrastructure. The net capacity factor measures how much electricity a power plant can produce compared to its maximum capacity. Coal-fired power plant to have a high factor because coal is a highly stable and easily access energy source. Unlike renewable source like solar or wind turbine, which is dependent heavily on weather condition. Additional, many countries in Indonesia, including have established an operational coal infrastructure with significant investment made over the past decade. This make a rapid transition to renewable energy substantial challenge, particular regarding cost and time. Many coal plants are still relatively new and efficient, making it economically difficult for government and energy companies to return retire them early without a significant impact on national energy stability. On the flip side, integrating renewable energy technology takes time to develop energy storage capacity, such as batteries, are still limited, making coal a reliable source for maintain grid stability. Therefore, even with a strong push for a transition to renewable energy, coal remains necessary to ensure a stable and sustainable electricity supply, especially during the transition period. Maybe my answer.
Okay, thank you Mbak Rosa and Mbak Marina for the Q&A. Maybe for the last question, there is any question or comment from the audience?
Based on the profit graph, can you analyze the project electricity generation in South Sumatra according the RUPTL scenario? What are the case trends and insight you can derive from this data? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mas Dava, for the question. I will try to answer the question. So, based on the profit graph, the profit graph offers a comprehensive overview of the projected electricity generation in South Sumatra based on RUPTL scenario. The key trend and insight derived from the data include the first one is dominance of coal-fired power plant. Coal-fired power plant are projected to remain the primary source of electricity generation in South Sumatra until 2060, despite a slight decrease in the share. Coal-fired power plants are expected to contribute significantly to the total electricity output. Gradual shift toward natural gas. There is a declinable trend toward increasing the share of natural gas-based power plants or PLTG and PLTGU in the electricity generation mix. This suggests a gradual shift toward cleaner burning fuels. The third one is limited growth in renewable energy. The growth of renewable energy source such as solar and hydro is relatively slow compared to fossil fuels. While there is a slight increase in the share of hydropower, the contribution of solar power plant remains minimal. The fourth is a stabilization of other fuel sources. The share of electricity generated from diesel, geothermal, and combined cycle power plant is expected to remain relatively stable throughout the projected period. And the last one is overall fossil fuel dominance. Despite the increasing share of natural gas, fossil fuels, coal, and natural gas are projected to continue dominating the electricity generation mix in South Sumatra until 2060. Okay, that's all from my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Mas Dava and Mas Aditya for the Q&A. Maybe I will close for this first session of the presentation. Thank you once again for the audience who has joined the Q&A section, and Mas Farhan, Mas Aditya, and Mbak Amarina for the great presentation. Hopefully what has been shared will be beneficially for all of us. Okay, last, I will close this first session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.